Hello, my name's Rory O'Connor and you're joining Gold. Today we have Adam Lambert in the studio. How are you, Adam?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Now, you've been all around London. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
What have you been up to since you've been here?
Talking about my music and doing the rounds. It's really exciting. I released this song, Superpower, and it's playing on air, and I'm just excited that people are loving it.
What's been the feedback so far?
I intended it to be written as an empowerment anthem, but one that you could dance to and have a good time to. And I think that's what people are saying, that they love the message and that they love the bass line and they can't get it out of their head.
Now, you're also here for a big announcement. You're going on tour with Queen for 16 dates.
Yes.
That's amazing.
UK and Europe. We're very excited to come back. We've done a lot of these cities before, but the Rhapsody tour that we're coming out with is a whole new production. We just did about 7 weeks in the US, and people loved it. We were sold out everywhere.
It was a huge success.
It was wild, and I think partially due to the fact that the movie was such a big success, we have a lot of new fans, a lot of new people that haven't seen us as a duo, as a collaboration. They haven't seen us before, and there's all this interest in Queen music now, and we're seeing young people everywhere, and their parents, and their parents' parents. So we're really excited to bring this new show out here.
And this is going to be your first European show since the film's come out.
That's right.
Do you think you're going to see a different kind of appreciation for Queen?
I think that is what we're seeing. I think it's interesting, too, because I think there's new fascination into Freddie and who he was. And I think the movie did such a beautiful job at making people fall in love with him again.
Is there anything new that you learned from the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely learned more about Freddie's relationship with his manager, the manager that kind of pulled him away a little bit from the rest of the band. And that's a very interesting story.
At the new year, you're going to be kicking off in South Korea. You're going through Japan.
Yeah. It's
going to be a massive year, 2020.
Yeah, before we come over here, we're definitely going to Australia, New Zealand, Asia.
You've got 17 dates in the book.
Yeah,
already.
Man. And that's the thing is, I've said this before, but I get to kind of juggle working with Queen and then my solo career, which is kind of a dream come true. It's amazing because it's two very different sides of things, but they complement each other, I'd like to think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And with your new album, do you find there's been a few influences from touring with Queen?
Yeah, I think on this project, I definitely think it's a little bit closer to something that maybe a Queen fan would like to listen to. There's a lot of sort of retro influences. Music from the 70s and 80s, early 80s particularly, was always being played in my house growing up. My parents had a lot of vinyl, and I heard a lot of great music. And when I started working on this project, I thought to myself, okay, I want to do something different than what I have done. And I had to really search for a real inspiration, like a reference point. And I realized that the music that I was referring to was stuff that was sort of like in my DNA because I grew up hearing it. So it wasn't something that I had to like try to do. It came so naturally because it's like the fabric of what I love about music and why I wanted to become a musician in the first place.
Well, your latest single is such a stadium anthem, I think.
Thank you.
When you hear it, it sounds like you would hear that in an arena or a stadium and you'd hear all the fans cheering it. Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun to perform. I definitely think that there's probably a little bit of an influence of Bites the Dust in that song. It's like a third cousin to that song, just in the approach, having a drum and bass groove and then writing a song on top of it.
And when you are performing with Queen next year, you're coming back to London and you're doing 5 dates at the O2 Arena, which is a huge venue, and then you're popping up to Manchester.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you going to get to perform any of your tracks off Velvet, or is it?
I don't know yet.
Queen?
I'm not. We've definitely, the guys have been so kind in the past to perform a song of mine or two. We've done What Do You Want From Me? We've done a handful of them. We did a song called Lucy that was on my last album that Brian actually played guitar on. So, yeah, I think they're very open to it. So we just have to decide which one.
There'll be plenty to choose from.
Yeah, it'll be a year. It's a year away, so or less than a year away. So I think there's going to be a lot of great songs. We'll see which one they love.
And you performed over 200 gigs now with Queen. Is it still nerve-wracking?
Is that how many it is?
Over 200, I've been
told. Wow, yeah. I don't get nervous anymore, except for when we're in a city where I have a lot of people, like close friends and family. Like a big city. Like when we played LA, I was a little nervous because I got a lot of people out there that I knew personally. Yeah. But it really is kind of in my body now. It's like muscle memory with them, which is great.
And when you performed with them on American Idol, did you think it was just going to be a one-time thing, or did you expect 200 gigs later you'd still be going with Queen?
If somebody had told me, by the way, in about 10 years' time, you're going to be fronting the band with them and traveling all over the world, I would have said that they were crazy. But I'm really glad, and maybe it was like a twist of fate, that I chose Bohemian Rhapsody as my audition song for the competition, because if that hadn't been my choice, I don't know if they would have ever heard about me.
I know. Imagine if you'd chosen a random band.
I know. It would have been crazy.
What's it like being on the road with them?
They're great. I mean, it feels like family at this point. We've been working together for about 8 years, and we know each other really well. It's a good group of people. It's very tight knit. There's an ease and comfortability that I could only wish for. And when we're on stage too, it's like we know what the other person's thinking. You can kind of read
like
the band. Now. It's a real band. It feels like a band.
Yeah. And do you think there could be a chance that you'd record with Queen in the future?
I don't know. I mean, we get asked that from time to time.
We want it, Adam.
I've never really, it's one of those things where I would never say never, but it hasn't come up.
And earlier this year, there were talks about the Elvis Presley movie.
Yes, they were trying to cast really young Elvis, and I'm not really young. So, I was hoping to, maybe get looked at for Elvis later years. So maybe there'll be a sequel or something.
Now, fans watching this are desperate to know more about Velvet. Is there anything else you can tease?
Velvet is, it's a mood. It's definitely influenced by the late 70s, early 80s. I would think that if you're comparing it to my past work, it's a bit more soulful. There's the production, the sound of it is a bit more like indie kind of vibes. And thematically, there's a handful of songs that are really empowering, that should make you feel confident and hopefully inspire people to be exactly who they want to be. And then there's some songs about love and connection as well, celebrating true love, celebrating finding love. And then there's songs that I wrote even before that are about the search for that connection, where you don't have it or you feel disconnected. So there's a little of everything.
And how long did you spend working on this album?
Oh, man, I've been working on this for over 4 years. Wow. And I took my time because I really wanted to make sure I found a sound and a style that felt authentic and that was right. I wanted to carve out my own lane on this one. I wanted my own vibe. It wasn't about chasing a trend or competing with other artists. It was more about like, let me do me.
And you've got a documentary that's going to be airing over here on the 11th of October.
Yeah.
What's it like to have your story told in a documentary format? Is it weird to watch?
It is such a compliment. I felt very flattered by the things that Brian May and Roger Taylor said about me in there, and I think it's nice to tell our story about how we met and all the work we've done and all the amazing shows we've done. It's a nice thing to share. We're really proud of it.
Over this 10-year journey that we've seen you, what's been your highlight?
Over 10 years? Oh, wow. There's been a lot of amazing adventures.
You don't have to say being in the Gold Studio.
Yeah. This is one. We played the Oscars this year, Queen and I. We opened the Oscars. And to perform on the Academy Awards is such an honor. It was wild. And looking out in the audience and seeing all these movie stars, it was crazy.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here in the Gold Studio, Adam. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And for more exclusives just like this, visit mygoldmusic.co.uk.